Have you ever felt that lump in your throat, that tightness in your chest, when you wanted to speak your truth but the words just wouldn't come out? We've all been there. That feeling is often a sign that we're holding back, perhaps from fear of judgment or the possibility of conflict. But here's the thing, our needs are valid, and expressing them authentically is crucial to our well-being. Whether it's with a romantic partner, a family member, a colleague, or even a casual acquaintance, effective communication is the bridge to genuine connection. It's about creating a safe space where we can show up as our true selves, vulnerabilities and all. And that's what we're diving into today. Throughout this video, we'll explore practical strategies to express your needs with confidence and clarity. We'll unpack the common barriers that hold us back from speaking our truth and equip you with tools to overcome those hurdles. Remember, communicating effectively isn't about being perfect. It's about being present, authentic, and willing to engage in open and honest dialogue. So, if you're ready to transform your relationships by communicating with more confidence and authenticity, grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let's embark on this journey together. Let's be honest, speaking up for ourselves can feel daunting. Have you ever felt that lump in your throat when trying to speak up about your needs in a relationship? It's frustrating, right? That feeling of your chest tightening, your palms getting sweaty, and your mind racing with all the what-ifs. What if they get upset? What if they reject me? Whether it's with a partner, a friend, or a colleague, feeling misunderstood can leave you disconnected and emotionally drained. You might start to question your own worth, wondering if your needs are even valid. This is especially common when we've experienced past hurts or rejections. We might even start to minimize our own feelings, telling ourselves things like, "It's not a big deal," or "I shouldn't rock the boat." But here's the truth. Your feelings are valid, and your needs matter. Bottling them up only leads to resentment, frustration, and a disconnect in your relationships. It's like trying to build a house on a foundation of unspoken words and unacknowledged emotions. Eventually, it will crumble. The good news is that it doesn't have to be this way. By learning how to communicate your needs with confidence and clarity, you can cultivate deeper, more fulfilling relationships. Remember, you deserve to be heard, and your voice matters. Let's face it, none of us are born knowing how to communicate effectively. It's a skill we develop over time, through trial and error, and often through moments of misunderstanding and hurt. But here's the thing, the stakes are high. Did you know poor communication is cited as the #1 reason relationships fail? Studies show nearly 65% of relationship breakdowns trace back to misunderstandings or unmet needs. Think about that for a moment. That's almost 2/3 of relationships that could potentially be saved if only we knew how to communicate more effectively. When we can't clearly articulate our feelings or boundaries, frustration, resentment, and emotional exhaustion quickly set in. It's like a slow poison that seeps into the foundation of our relationships, eroding trust, intimacy, and connection. We might find ourselves withdrawing emotionally, shutting down, or resorting to unhealthy coping mechanisms to deal with the pain of feeling unheard. But it's not just romantic relationships that suffer. Poor communication can have a detrimental impact on our friendships, family dynamics, and even our professional lives. It can lead to conflicts, misunderstandings, missed opportunities, and a general sense of disconnect and dissatisfaction. Have you ever stopped to consider just how much we rely on communication in our relationships? It's the very foundation upon which we build understanding, connection, and intimacy. Yet, so often we stumble and falter, leaving our needs unspoken and our feelings buried beneath layers of resentment. The truth is, avoiding difficult conversations doesn't make them disappear. It allows them to fester and grow, creating distance and disharmony in our closest bonds. When we fail to express our needs clearly and respectfully, we inadvertently create an environment ripe for misunderstandings, hurt feelings, and ultimately, relationship breakdowns. Think of it like this. Imagine a garden that's never tended to. Without proper care and attention, weeds begin to sprout, choking out the beautiful flowers and preventing anything healthy from flourishing. Our relationships are very much the same. Without open and honest communication, negativity takes root, stifling the growth of love, trust, and connection. In the next section, we'll delve into some startling statistics that highlight just how pervasive and damaging poor communication can be in our personal and professional lives. Now that we understand the importance of clear communication, let's dive into some practical techniques that can empower you to express your needs with confidence and respect. One of the most effective tools at your disposal is the I statement. I statements are a powerful way to communicate your feelings and needs without blaming or accusing the other person. Instead of starting a sentence with "you always" or "you never," which can immediately put someone on the defensive, begin by expressing how you feel. For example, instead of saying, "You never listen to me, try, I feel unheard when my opinions aren't acknowledged." This subtle shift in language can make a world of difference in the tone and direction of a conversation. By focusing on your own experience rather than pointing fingers, you create a safer space for open dialogue and understanding. Remember, the goal is not to win an argument or prove a point, but to communicate your needs in a way that is both assertive and respectful. By owning your feelings and clearly articulating your perspective, you invite the other person to understand and empathize with your experience. While our words carry significant weight, it's important to remember that communication extends far beyond verbal expression. In fact, studies have shown that nonverbal cues, such as body language, tone of voice, and facial expressions, can account for up to 93% of our communication. Think about it. Have you ever felt a disconnect with someone even though their words seemed perfectly pleasant? Perhaps their body language was closed off, or their tone of voice seemed insincere. These subtle cues can send powerful messages, often contradicting the words being spoken. When it comes to communicating our needs effectively, aligning our verbal and nonverbal communication is crucial. If we're expressing a desire for connection while avoiding eye contact and crossing our arms, the message we send becomes muddled and confusing. Let's dive into the power of role-playing. Now, before you think I'm suggesting you put on a play, hear me out. Role-playing in this context is about creating a safe mental space to practice challenging conversations before they happen. Imagine it as a dress rehearsal for your relationship. Think about a time you felt a lump in your throat, unsure how to voice your needs. Perhaps it was with a partner, a close friend, or even a colleague. We've all been there. Instead of letting those feelings fester, role-playing allows you to rehearse the scenario and find the words that feel authentic to you. By practicing these conversations in a safe environment, you build your confidence and reduce the fear of being caught off guard. It's like learning lines for a play. The more you rehearse, the more natural and impactful your delivery becomes. Remember, our goal is to communicate our needs in a way that's both assertive and respectful. Role-playing empowers you to find that balance and approach these conversations with a greater sense of ease. While words are incredibly powerful, our nonverbal cues often speak volumes. Think about it. A warm smile can instantly disarm a tense situation, while crossed arms might signal defensiveness. When it comes to communicating your needs with confidence, mastering your nonverbal language is paramount. Imagine you're expressing a boundary to a friend, but your body language contradicts your words. You're avoiding eye contact, fidgeting nervously, and your voice lacks conviction. Do you think your friend will take you seriously? Probably not. This is where aligning your verbal and nonverbal communication becomes crucial. When your body language reflects confidence, it reinforces your message and inspires trust in the other person. So, how do we achieve this congruence? Start by becoming aware of your habitual postures and gestures. Do you tend to slouch or avoid eye contact when you're nervous? Once you've identified these patterns, you can begin replacing them with more confident alternatives. Let's talk about boundaries, a word that often carries unnecessary baggage. Many people associate boundaries with being selfish or pushing others away. However, setting boundaries is not about closing yourself off. It's about honoring your needs and creating healthy, respectful dynamics in your relationships. Think of boundaries as invisible fences that protect your emotional well-being. They define what you are and are not willing to tolerate in your interactions with others. When we fail to establish clear boundaries, we risk feeling resentful, overwhelmed, and emotionally drained. Consider this. You have a friend who constantly calls you to vent about their problems, leaving you feeling emotionally exhausted. Instead of suffering in silence, setting a boundary might involve saying, "I care about you, and I'm here to listen, but I also need some time for myself. Can we talk about this later?" By clearly communicating your limits, you're not rejecting your friend, you're prioritizing your own well-being, which is essential for maintaining a healthy and sustainable relationship. Let's be honest, voicing our needs can feel like walking a tightrope. There's this underlying fear of being vulnerable, of putting ourselves out there only to be met with rejection or indifference. It's natural to worry about how our words will land, if they'll be heard, or worse, if they'll spark conflict. Many of us carry past hurts, experiences where our needs were dismissed or minimized. These memories can linger, creating a hesitation, a reluctance to open up again. We might even convince ourselves that it's easier to stay silent, to avoid rocking the boat. But here's the thing, suppressing our needs doesn't make them disappear. In fact, it often amplifies them, leading to resentment, misunderstandings, and a slow erosion of the very connection we crave. Remember, you deserve to have your needs met just as much as anyone else. Acknowledging those needs, even the fear around expressing them, is a powerful first step towards creating healthier, more fulfilling relationships. One of the most powerful tools we can cultivate in our communication toolkit is active listening. It's not enough to simply hear the words someone is saying. Active listening requires us to truly tune in, to be fully present with the person in front of us. Active listening involves paying attention not just to the words being spoken, but also to the emotions being conveyed through tone of voice, body language, and facial expressions. It's about putting aside our own thoughts and judgments, even for a little while, and creating a safe space for the other person to feel truly heard and seen. When we feel heard, truly heard, something remarkable happens. Our defenses soften, our hearts open, and we become more receptive to understanding the perspectives of others. This, in turn, creates a more fertile ground for expressing our own needs. So, how do we practice active listening? It starts with simple yet powerful gestures, maintaining eye contact, nodding to show understanding, and offering verbal cues like, "I hear you" or "tell me more." It's about reflecting back what we've heard, not to interrupt or offer solutions, but to ensure we're truly understanding the other person's experience. Imagine this. You're about to have a conversation about a need that feels particularly vulnerable to express. Your heart is racing, your palms are sweating, and all you can think about are the worst-case scenarios. This is where mindfulness comes in. Mindfulness, in its essence, is about bringing our attention to the present moment without judgment. It's about noticing our thoughts, feelings, and physical sensations without getting swept away by them. When we practice mindfulness, we create a space between ourselves and our reactions, allowing us to respond to situations with more clarity and intention. So how can mindfulness help us communicate our needs more effectively? Firstly, it helps regulate our emotions. By becoming aware of our emotional state, we can avoid reacting impulsively or letting our emotions dictate our words and actions. This is especially crucial when discussing sensitive topics. Secondly, mindfulness enhances our self-awareness. It helps us identify our own needs more clearly. By tuning into our inner world, we can better understand what we're feeling and what we need to feel safe, respected, and fulfilled in our relationships. Empathy. It's a word we hear often, but what does it truly mean in the context of relationships? It's the ability to step outside of your own experience and genuinely understand the emotions and perspectives of another person. Think of it as temporarily stepping into their shoes and seeing the world through their eyes, feeling what they might be feeling. Now, this doesn't mean you have to agree with their perspective or condone their actions. Instead, it's about creating a safe space for understanding, a space where you can acknowledge their feelings without judgment. When we approach conversations with empathy, we begin to dismantle those walls of defensiveness that often hinder open communication. Cultivating empathy requires active listening and a genuine desire to connect on a deeper level. It means putting aside our own biases and assumptions and opening ourselves up to the possibility that their reality at that moment is different from our own. This can be challenging, especially when we feel hurt or misunderstood ourselves, but the rewards are immeasurable. Remember, empathy is a two-way street. When we demonstrate empathy towards others, it encourages them to reciprocate. It fosters a sense of mutual respect and understanding, creating a foundation for healthy and fulfilling relationships. Let's talk about those moments when emotions run high, and you feel that familiar surge of anxiety or anger bubbling up. Maybe it's a disagreement with a loved one, a stressful deadline at work, or simply the overwhelming feeling of having too much on your plate. These are the moments when mindfulness becomes an invaluable tool for effective communication. Mindfulness, in its simplest form, is the practice of bringing your attention to the present moment without judgment. It's about noticing your thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations without getting swept away by them. When we're mindful, we create space between ourselves and our reactions, allowing us to respond to challenging situations with more clarity and intention. Think of mindfulness as hitting the pause button on autopilot. Instead of reacting impulsively out of anger, frustration, or fear, we take a moment to observe those emotions without judgment. This pause, however brief, can make all the difference in how we communicate. The next time you feel yourself getting triggered in a conversation, try taking a few deep breaths. Notice the rise and fall of your chest, the feeling of your feet on the ground, the sounds around you. This simple act of grounding yourself in the present moment can help to calm your nervous system and create the space you need to respond more thoughtfully. We've talked about empathy, stepping into the shoes of others, and practicing mindfulness to stay grounded in challenging conversations. But before we can effectively communicate our needs to others, we need to have a clear understanding of what those needs are ourselves. This is where self-reflection comes into play. It's about taking the time to check in with ourselves, to understand our own thoughts, feelings, and needs. It's about asking ourselves those important questions. What am I feeling right now? What do I need in this moment? What's important to me in this situation? Often we go through life on autopilot, reacting to situations without truly understanding the root of our own emotions. We might find ourselves feeling resentful, frustrated, or unheard, but we haven't taken the time to pinpoint why. Self-reflection allows us to hit the pause button and delve deeper into our own inner landscape. Think of self-reflection as a compassionate conversation with yourself. It's about creating a safe space to explore your inner world without judgment. It's about acknowledging your strengths and weaknesses, your joys and sorrows, your hopes and fears. As we reach the end of our journey today, remember this. Learning to communicate your needs clearly and confidently isn't just about getting what you want. It's about honoring your authentic self within the context of your relationships. It's about recognizing that your needs and feelings are valid and that expressing them openly is a sign of strength, not weakness. When you communicate authentically, you invite others to do the same. You create a space of mutual respect and understanding, where both parties feel safe to be vulnerable and express their truths. This, my friends, is the foundation of any truly fulfilling and lasting connection. Think about it. Would you rather be in a relationship where you constantly tiptoe around your needs, afraid to rock the boat, or one where you can openly and honestly share your thoughts and feelings, knowing that you'll be met with empathy and understanding? The answer is clear. Choosing authenticity means choosing to show up as your true self, even when it's uncomfortable. It means embracing vulnerability, practicing compassion, and cultivating a deep sense of self-worth that allows you to express your needs without fear of judgment or rejection. We've covered a lot of ground today, from understanding the importance of I statements to cultivating empathy and practicing mindfulness. But now, I want to hear from you. I believe that everyone has a story to tell, a unique perspective to share, and valuable insights to offer. So, I invite you to join the conversation in the comments below. Tell me, what's one situation where you found it challenging to communicate your needs? What strategies did you use, or what obstacles did you face? Your experiences, both big and small, can provide valuable lessons and inspiration for others on this journey. Remember, vulnerability breeds connection. By sharing your story, you open the door for others to do the same, creating a supportive community where we can learn from one another, offer encouragement, and celebrate each other's growth. Whether you're just beginning to explore the power of assertive communication, or you're well on your way to mastering this essential skill, remember that you're not alone. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey of self-discovery and relationship mastery. Remember, the power to create fulfilling connections lies within you. Until next time, take care and keep shining your light.